Low-carbohydrate diets have gained immense popularity among athletes, fitness enthusiasts, and the general public, often promoted for weight management, improved metabolic flexibility, and enhanced fat utilization during exercise. High-profile training regimens, ketogenic diets, and low-carb strategies are often marketed as performance-enhancing, with claims that training the body to rely on fat as a primary fuel source can increase endurance and efficiency. While these diets can indeed improve metabolic flexibility, emerging research indicates that there may be trade-offs when it comes to sustained high-intensity performance, muscle recovery, and long-duration endurance events. Evaluating carbohydrate availability, muscle glycogen dynamics, and physiological performance reveals that while low-carb diets have benefits, athletes may need to carefully balance carb intake with training demands to optimize results. Carbohydrates serve as the primary energy source for high-intensity exercise, providing readily available glucose that is rapidly metabolized to fuel muscle contraction. Glycogen, the stored form of glucose in muscle and liver, is critical for endurance and repeated bouts of high-intensity activity. When carbohydrate intake is restricted over long periods, glycogen stores can become depleted, leading to reduced exercise capacity and slower recovery times. Several studies have compared low-carb and higher-carb athletes in endurance contexts, demonstrating that while low-carb adapted athletes can improve fat oxidation rates and metabolic efficiency, their maximal power output, sprinting capacity, and ability to sustain high-intensity work often remain lower compared with athletes consuming adequate carbohydrates. This suggests that carbohydrate restriction may not universally enhance athletic performance and could, in some contexts, reduce physical endurance in prolonged or intense events. Despite these potential limitations, low-carb diets offer several positive adaptations that can benefit athletic performance when implemented strategically. Training under low glycogen conditions can enhance mitochondrial density and oxidative enzyme activity, improving the muscle's ability to burn fat as a fuel source. These adaptations can increase endurance efficiency during moderate-intensity exercise and may help athletes conserve glycogen during long-duration events. Additionally, fat-adapted athletes often experience improved metabolic flexibility, meaning their bodies can more efficiently switch between carbohydrate and fat fuels depending on intensity and availability. This adaptive capacity can be particularly advantageous in sports with mixed-intensity demands or in ultra-endurance events where prolonged energy availability is critical. Muscle recovery is another factor influenced by carbohydrate intake. Carbohydrates play a key role in replenishing glycogen stores post-exercise, and adequate glycogen recovery supports muscle repair, strength maintenance, and subsequent performance sessions. Studies suggest that athletes on strict low-carb diets may experience slower glycogen resynthesis, which can temporarily impair performance in repeated high-intensity bouts. However, this limitation can be addressed through targeted carbohydrate strategies such as carb cycling, post-workout carbohydrate intake, or strategic timing of higher carb meals around training sessions. By integrating carbohydrates in a periodized and individualized manner, athletes can enjoy the metabolic and body composition benefits of low-carb diets while still maintaining endurance, recovery, and high-intensity performance. Beyond energy metabolism, low-carb diets may also influence hydration, electrolyte balance, and inflammation, all of which impact endurance and recovery. Reduced carbohydrate intake often leads to lower insulin levels and increased excretion of water and electrolytes, particularly sodium and potassium. While this may result in modest weight loss due to fluid shifts, it can also temporarily affect muscular endurance and thermoregulation if not properly managed. Athletes who pay attention to hydration and electrolyte replenishment can counterbalance these effects, demonstrating that careful planning transforms a potential limitation into an opportunity for optimizing performance under low-carb conditions. Another encouraging aspect of low-carb adaptations is their potential for supporting metabolic health, weight management, and body composition, all of which indirectly contribute to athletic performance. Reduced reliance on refined carbohydrates and improved fat oxidation can lead to more stable energy levels, lower systemic inflammation, and improved lipid profiles. These benefits may enhance training quality, recovery, and long-term athletic resilience, particularly for athletes who perform in multiple disciplines, long-duration events, or sports requiring consistent energy over several hours. When low-carb strategies are combined with strategic carbohydrate timing, athletes may achieve an optimal balance, enhanced fat metabolism, and metabolic health alongside sufficient glycogen availability for peak performance. In evaluating studies comparing carbohydrate availability, muscle recovery, and performance, the emerging message is that context and individualization matter. Low-carb diets are not inherently detrimental, but they require careful consideration of training intensity, duration, and nutrient timing to maintain optimal performance. Athletes may experience slight reductions in maximal power output during high-intensity exercise or prolonged sprints, yet the metabolic adaptations achieved under low-carb conditions can confer long-term endurance advantages and improved metabolic efficiency. Strategic integration of carbohydrates, coupled with adequate protein intake and attention to hydration and electrolytes, allows athletes to harness the benefits of low-carb diets while mitigating potential endurance limitations. Ultimately, low-carbohydrate diets represent a powerful tool for athletes, but they are not a one-size-fits-all solution. By understanding how carbohydrate availability interacts with muscle glycogen, recovery, and exercise intensity, athletes can structure their nutrition to support both metabolic adaptations and peak performance. Rather than viewing low-carb diets as limiting, this research encourages a nuanced, individualized approach. Periodized carbohydrate intake, targeted nutrition timing, and careful monitoring of training demands enable athletes to enjoy the benefits of improved fat oxidation, metabolic flexibility, and body composition without sacrificing endurance or recovery. The emerging evidence highlights the adaptability of the human body and the potential for athletes to use low-carb strategies intelligently, turning what might appear to be a limitation into an opportunity for optimized performance, resilience, and long-term athletic health.